You know, every year, the big dictionaries pick a word of the year. Well, it's more than just a fun tradition. It's like a time capsule, right? One single word that captures a snapshot of everything we were thinking about, arguing about, and building. So let's get into it and decode the words that really defined 2025.
So, what was it? If you had to boil the entire year down to one single word, what would it be? What's the one term we're going to look back on and say, yep, that was so 2025? Well, here's the thing. This year, for the first time in a while, the major dictionaries just could not agree. Not at all. We actually got 3 totally different winners, and each one tells a really unique story about our relationship with technology, with each other, and, well, with reality itself. And that disagreement? That's where things get interesting.
Okay, first up, let's look at the choice from Collins Dictionary. They picked a term that dives right into the deep end of the biggest tech revolution happening right now, artificial intelligence. Their word of the year? Vibe coding.
So what on earth is vibe coding? Well, picture this. Instead of writing thousands of lines of complicated manual code, you just talk to an AI. You describe what you want in plain English. You could literally just say, hey, build me an app that plans my meals for the week. And the AI does all the heavy lifting. This is a huge, huge shift. It's basically opening up the world of digital creation to anyone and everyone. No coding experience required.
And get this, the term actually comes from Andrej Karpathy, one of the co-founders of OpenAI, and the way he describes it is perfect. He says it's about forgetting the rigid logical code even exists and just giving into the vibes, the creativity, the intuition, the vision. You focus on the big idea, and you let the machine handle all the boring technical stuff.
And vibe coding wasn't an outlier on their list. Not at all. Collins also shortlisted Clanker. You might recognize that as an old Star Wars insult for droids that completely blew up on TikTok as a way to vent about frustrating AI. Then you've got Broligarchy, which is a perfect term for those powerful tech titans and their growing political muscle. Altogether, these words just paint this incredible picture of us trying to figure out both the amazing promise and the real scary parts of all this new tech.
Now for our next word. So while Collins was focused on how we're talking to machines, Cambridge Dictionary took a different angle. They looked at how technology is changing our relationships with people, or maybe our perceived relationships with people. Their word of the year is parasocial. And this word has been on a wild ride. I mean, it was first coined way back in 1956 by sociologists talking about how people felt like they knew TV stars. But in 2025, it just exploded into the mainstream. And you have to ask, why now? Well, because social media, influencers, even AI chatbots have completely blurred the lines of what connection even means. This old, niche academic term suddenly became the perfect word to describe modern life.
So here's the key difference, right? A normal social relationship is a two-way street. You give, you get, you interact. A parasocial one, it's all one-way traffic. It's that feeling of friendship you might have for your favorite YouTuber, or that super intense emotional investment you might feel for a celebrity you have absolutely never met.
But it's not all harmless fun. As Professor Simone Schnall at Cambridge points out, these connections can actually get pretty unhealthy. That feeling that you really know an online personality can create this intense loyalty. But you have to remember, it's all based on a persona, right? Something carefully crafted for an audience. It's a connection that feels so real, but is ultimately a kind of illusion.
And that brings us to our third and, honestly, by far the most unusual word of the year. This one comes from dictionary.com. So I want you to forget everything about complex tech jargon or sociological terms. Their choice wasn't even a word. It was a number.
Yep, 67. That's it. You've probably seen it everywhere, right? Spammed in comment sections, yelled in TikToks, usually with that weird hand gesture. And here's the most fascinating part. It was chosen because it has a complete and total lack of any real meaning.
So if it means nothing, like zip nada, why on earth is it the word of the year? Well, as linguistics professor Cynthia Gordon explains, its job isn't to communicate information. Its power is as a signal. See, when you use 67, you're not really saying anything about the world. You're saying something about yourself. You're saying, I get it. I'm in on the joke. I'm part of the online in crowd.
And its origin story is just peak internet chaos. It all started in a song by a rapper named Skrilla, which then got slapped onto a TikTok about basketball player LaMelo Ball's height, which is 6'7". And then a fan just randomly added the hand gesture, and from there, it just went completely viral. It's this rapid, almost accidental chain of events that just shows you how fast an inside joke can become a global phenomenon online.
So let's step back for a second. We've got vibe coding, we've got parasocial, and we've got a number, 67. I mean, what do these three totally different things tell us when we put them all together? What's the bigger picture they're painting about 2025?
Well, when you lay it all out like this, a really clear story starts to take shape. Vibe coding shows us how AI is becoming our creative partner, fundamentally changing how we build our digital world. Parasocial then shows us how living in that digital world is blurring the lines of what human connection even is. And finally, 67 reveals how we build communities and find belonging inside that weird, blurry world, through these shared, often meaningless inside jokes. They're not separate ideas, they're all just different pieces of the same puzzle.
At the end of the day, the words we choose, the words that go viral, they're like a mirror. They reflect everything about who we are and where we're going. They show our biggest hopes, our deepest anxieties, and the new ways we're finding each other. So that leaves us with just one last thought. If this was the language of 2025, what are we all going to be talking about next year?